Here we go. How are we today, Carol?
I'm good. How are you?
Glad to be here. Happy Monday.
My favorite day of the week. My honeymoon Monday. I got to hang out with you on Mondays.
I do appreciate a good ValCinema Monday. Let's go ahead and get started. How to Be a Bride in 10 Days, episode 4, pros and cons of this and that. We're going to take you through some things that brides consider while they're planning for their wedding and just talk to you about some of the pros and cons. Plated versus buffet. So when we're serving dinner at the reception, which do you choose and why?
This is probably one of the biggest back and forth that brides have. The things that you need to consider are your guest count, the type of meal you want, and the formality you want.
Some pros and cons of the plated. You're going for a more elegant, formal vibe. Definitely plated is the way to go. Don't have to wait in line. You can enjoy socializing with the people around you. It's more relaxed for the guests while you have the servers bring the food to you. And also it's less stressful for people with allergies. They can mention it on the save the dates. And then it's also more COVID friendly. Some cons that there may be are more food waste if there's picky eaters. The food may be cold because it's pre-plated, and it's also more logistical work on your end. You have to send out the menu options, receive those back, chase them back for any guests who did not RSVP with the plate that they wanted, and also you might need to consider a seating chart.
Buffets. Some pros of that are that there's more options for the guests. They're not limited to just one dish option and they can kind of pick that day. They have the chance for seconds. Food waste, if they're a picky eater, the buffet, that kind of eliminates that, because if they don't want it, they just won't get it. But then people who come back for seconds will eat it. The buffet is actually heated, sitting on burners the whole time. So, you kind of eliminate that cooling off time period. It's fresh, it's right off of the burner. The cons of that though, if you have a buffet and you have probably over 100, 150 guests, you need to at least consider a double line for the buffet, because there's going to be a long waiting period line. Sometimes waiting in a buffet line is a little bit harder for guests who maybe have issues standing for long periods of time. So that's something to think about too.
But there are some also alternatives for food for wedding. You can also do food trucks. Food trucks are the new craze. So food is made as it's served. You can get 3 food trucks. You can get 1 food truck. It's just a different style. It's kind of unique, a little bohemian taste to it. Another way that you can serve your dinner is family style. So instead of just bringing the plated food out individually, you can bring out the big dishes. So each course is served and you guys help yourself at the table. It's a little more intimate way of getting to know the people you're sitting with. And also it is, it prevents from the lines and whatnot for the buffet.
So which one would you do, Theresa?
I would definitely be down for the buffet. Let the people eat.
I really like the idea of the plated, just because of the essence of elegance. I like the idea of just that intimate, kind of being served, that nice formal feeling. So things to consider whenever you're planning, whenever you're first going to see each other is definitely you'll want to think about the time of day. Is the sun really high? Is it going to be hot? But also the location. If you're getting ready at separate locations, first look, that's something to think about. Where are you going to do it? What the sun is going to look like during that time. A very personal decision, I feel like, to decide if you're going to do a first look or an aisle reaction. It's very specific to the couple. So thinking about what you want as a couple too.
You'll be able to knock out the majority of your photos right before the ceremony. Go straight into your reception without cocktail hour. Your hair and makeup will be fresh at that moment. If you schedule it right before your first look, you'll have a fresh face of makeup and your face won't be melting off from the heat. The first look is a more private, intimate moment between you and your significant other. It's just going to be you and then your photographer who's going to capture that moment, especially if there's emotions. First look is a place to get them out. We've seen plenty of grooms just break down. And that's a great moment between you and your significant other when it's just y'all. And so it's more raw. It helps calm the nerves as well when you're before before you're about to walk down the aisle. Some cons though, you do have to be ready earlier.
Yeah, probably about 2 hours before is enough time to kind of have that first moment and then do everyone's photos.
Anything runs behind, then your ceremony will run behind too. So if we're going outside, your gown might get a little bit dirty. Your flowers may get a little wilted too. So just make sure you have a vase next to you. And then you will need somebody to retouch your makeup right before. Carol, what you got for the aisle reactions?
I did do an aisle reaction with my husband, and that really, the reason we chose that is because it was traditional. We really wanted that moment that I walk down the aisle and we see each other first time. So the pros of that is that it's traditional. That's something in the US culture that a lot of couples have done in the past, and a lot of couples will continue to do. That shared moment with your friends and family, you won't get that with the first look. Just that feeling of the anticipation of you're about to walk down the aisle and all the guests are waiting to see you, but so is your significant other at the front of the aisle. You know, you're kind of shaken because you're nervous, but also you're really excited. With that, that's kind of a con too, because it's a one-shot thing. You can't reset up the aisle reaction. Another con, you need to take time after the ceremony then to take photos. So that's a con for some people who really want to enjoy their guests and their day.
Some alternate things that you could also do instead of a first look or aisle reaction, the letter reading. So write a letter to your significant other. You can have that photograph when they open it up, however you want to do that, or it can be a private, intimate moment between just the two of you. And then another thing that's getting more and more popular is the first touch. So you're like, I'm behind a door, you're behind a door, and if you could do it all over again, would you keep the aisle reaction or would you change it up?
In hindsight, I was very stressed my wedding day. If I could do it, doing that first look and having that calming, grounding moment with my husband, I would do that.
So there's 12 months you can choose from out of the year to get married.
Things to consider. Again, your budget. There are some seasons that are more expensive to get married in your location. Some places get really, really hot, and some places get very, very cold. Also, your color scheme. I know that's weird, but if you want like a burnt orange, that's gonna be maybe a weird color for like a spring wedding.
There's some pros in getting married in the winter. It is the cheapest time of the year to get married, and it also gives like a cozy aesthetic. It is, during the holidays, so that is a good feeling anyways, but also a con of that. Family is planning their own family things during the holidays, so you want to be considerate of what like other people are doing as well. Why not get married on New Year's Eve? Everyone's wanting to party on New Year's Eve.
Bringing in the new year with newlyweds.
You do have some limited outdoor options during the winter time. You could probably get some cute things going in the winter with like some s'mores. Get a cute little jacket,
Oh yeah, like a fur coat.
Yes!
That's a look in itself.
So the next one I want to talk about is the spring. This is definitely milder temperatures. Springtime is usually a popular wedding season. Because it is the most popular though, it is also the most expensive. So prices are going to be a little higher during that time if you're looking for a venue or a vendor or anything like that.
Summer, it is the least rainy season, so that is a great time to get married as well, but also it is the hottest, obviously, time. And summer's really popular with like natural aesthetic, kind of light and airy tones, very whimsical summer aesthetic. Then the cons, obviously, of summer are it is almost too warm some days. It is super hot and sweaty. Your makeup is gonna just melt right off. Bugs is a big thing. If you have an outdoor wedding in the summer, definitely think about bugs. Think about maybe providing bug spray for your guests. Let's talk a little bit about fall. Fall is a lot up there with spring, one of the most popular times to get married. Beautiful fall foliage, cooling down after the hot summer, so it's just a little bit milder. Can get a little bit too cold, but you could wear a really cute like jean jacket or like a leather jacket. Also, it is cheap for traveling in the fall because summer break is over and tourism is dying down. The cons, if you were getting married in October or November and your hope is to get that fall foliage, that is very limited and very not super unpredictable, but kind of. It could come a week late or a week early and then be over by the time of your wedding. It could get a little bit too cold too early. I remember a couple years ago it was like snowing by Thanksgiving. So those are the pros and cons of kind of all the seasons.
Right, so now to send you guys off, we're gonna talk about the send-off. Fun fact.
Like a lot of these other ones, you got to think about your guests, your crowd. You got to think about your budgets, and also the time of day of your wedding.
Yeah, so it's a more natural flow to the evening. So when you have your schedule, you definitely send off. Everyone's gonna be leaving right after this. It's 11 o'clock. Let's do this. And it's a great way to end the night surrounded by your family and friends. A great photo op, definitely. So if you need a photographer or videographer, you just let us know. ValCinema over here. So some cons of the real send-off. Some guests might not want to stay later, and so people might be leaving a little bit early and not be able to be a part of that moment with you. You need to consider how long you're paying your videographer or your photographer. So if you do a longer ceremony reception and you want to capture that send-off, then you need to consider a budget for that as well.
The mock send-off, all the guests will be in the photos if you do it earlier in the day. If it's a little bit after dinner, just after it gets dark, more guests will be around. Kind of what Theresa was just talking about. It is less time coverage for your vendors. They can leave after that and you can just kind of dance the night away and not have to worry about paying for that extra 2-3 hours. Okay, cons of a mock send-off. Some of your guests who maybe wouldn't have left that early throughout the time of your mock send-off, or sometimes they will think that it is the end and they will leave a little bit earlier than maybe they would have. Establishing an official end time to the entire event might also be a little bit trickier too, because there's no official ending. It's just kind of the DJ being like, this is the last song. It's not as a big shebang at the end. If you take a break from dancing, it might ruin the party vibes that you're having. There might be a lull in dancing. If you want to do a mock send-off for your reception, call it a sparkler photo or a glow stick photo instead of a mock send-off. Don't call it a mock send-off because then people might actually get it mixed up with a real send-off.
If you don't want to do a mock send-off or a real send-off, you can also just do a group photo on the floor.
Yeah, the DJ will help with that too. Yes. If you don't want to do the send-off, you can do the bubbles or the confettis like you were just talking about. I just spoke with a bride who the coverage didn't last really far into the reception, so they ended up doing it leaving their ceremony.
Smart, and also very budget friendly. I like it. I like it. Those are all the things that we have for you guys, the pros and cons of this and that. If you have any questions and you want to reach out to us, here's some ways that you connect with us. Definitely check out our website. You can go through our galleries there. We are also on social media, so Instagram, Facebook. And Carol, I really just want to really quick talk about our Instagram lives that we are doing.
Honeymoon Monday. That is my favorite day of the week because I love traveling. I love talking about honeymoons. Anything travel related is Mondays.
And then Tuesday, we call it Tip Tuesday. So you'll be able to see some of the tips and tricks from this past webinar. And then Wednesday, I'm actually really excited about Wednesdays. Those are workout Wednesdays. I do some health tips and some workout strategies, some workout techniques for you guys. And who knows, maybe we'll do a live workout session coming at you soon.
We will not. Theresa will.
Thursdays, they are our Thankful Thursdays.
In ValCinema culture, we do something once a week to express our thankfulness, whether that is writing a note for someone, DMing someone we appreciate, leaving a review for a restaurant we like. We're going to start bringing that to the Instagram culture as well, maybe doing some giveaways. We'll stay tuned for that.
And then Featured Fridays.
Feature Friday, we feature a bride. We find a bride that we have provided photo and video for, or at least just photo. We show up some of their photos and we talk to them, kind of interview them, ask them what their wedding planning experience was like, what their wedding day was like, their regrets, what they like to.
Some tips and advice for future brides as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's for the future brides. It's from a bride to a bride, and I love that.
It's hard to plan a wedding, and it can be overwhelming at times, so we want to be able to share any knowledge that our brides have or that we have with you guys. So yeah, be sure to stick around for our Instagram live stories and check out our highlights. Also, if you want to check out our YouTube, make sure you subscribe to it. You can see the highlights that we've done from weddings. And if you ever need us, you can email us at Theresa@ValCinema.com and
Carol@ValCinema.com.
Easy. If you guys have any suggestions that you want to hear about on Honeymoon Monday or any workout tips that you are looking into, let us know. We'd love to do the research for you guys and share it, or, highlight any ideas that you have. So we're only a click and a button away. Next month, we will have our 5th episode of our 10 episodes free webinar series, where we will be talking about
the dress. I'm so excited. I'm going to start saying it like that, the dress.
And giving some makeup tips and talking about some accessories too.
Yes.
Well, hopefully, guys, we'll catch you around July 26th at 6 p.m. on our favorite day of the week, Mondays. Y'all have a ValCinema day. We'll talk later.
Bye, everyone.